Moss Park is a county park in Orange County, Florida. It's probably about 20 to 30 minutes east of Disney in an area called Lake Nona. Now, I should preface this video by stating that Moss Park was really a lesson in planning. I'm a planner by nature, but planning for camping is really easy. All you need is a good checklist, which I promise to create soon, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel or to our blog, you'll be the first to be notified when we post that. Now, Moss Park is a little bit of a hidden gem, but probably one that could use some polishing. The campground itself can be found online, but they only take reservations via phone and no more than 45 days in advance. This means they're rarely sold out, and they can be a great option if you're looking for a last-minute getaway. It also means you can feel like you have the park to yourself. When we went, there were only maybe 5 other trailers on sites, and there's a total of 55 of them. So it was definitely tranquil and quiet. Now, I grew up near Crystal Lake, and I've seen one too many Halloween movies, so I have a tendency to like people at night. And because the park itself doesn't have a ton of lighting and there weren't a lot of campsites filled, it was a little dark. Thankfully, flashlights were one of the things I remembered to pack. So that definitely helped. You'll want to make sure that you've got portable lighting with you. The campsites itself were rather deep, allowing for larger trailers. Most of them are full sand, so if you prefer a concrete pad that may be a little harder to get, they did have a few pads that were concrete, but they were also labeled as handicapped, so you'd have to work with the park to see if that's something that they would allow if they're not booked out. All of the sites have water and electric, but there's a separate dumping station for the RVs. Now, as a tent camper, this doesn't matter much to me, but my friends with the trailer have a limited gray water tank, and so that's something that's important to them, not being able to hook up to sewage on site. They have to be very careful about how much water they use, which means they were also opting for showers in the public restrooms versus being able to use their own clean showers. Now, that said, the restrooms were very clean. We went into 3 different units and we didn't see any problems. There weren't really any bugs, any cobwebs. They're definitely doing a good job of keeping up with the restrooms. They could be a little bigger. The one closest to us only had 3 toilet stalls and 3 shower stalls. So if you're dealing with peak times where you do have more people camping out and now you've got more people worried about gray water tanks, I could very easily see there being lines in the showers if it were to get busy. The park itself is a wildlife sanctuary, so they have some strict rules about no alcohol and no pets. They don't inspect your stuff. So based upon what I saw in the trash, plenty of people were still drinking, but we didn't get the rowdy drunk crowd that you can sometimes run into, and that was definitely nice. Definitely contributed to the peacefulness of the park. I have seen a lot of complaints online about the no pets rule, but I gotta be honest and state that this one I think is kind of fair. Orange County is known for its love of dogs, so it's not like they're trying to keep the dogs out just to be mean. Larger dogs have a tendency to scare off wildlife, and when you're trying to be a refuge, that's counterproductive. On the flip side, small dogs probably aren't the best to take when you're visiting a park that could have gators. We want to keep our pets safe as well. We did see a gator while we were there, but only from the boat docks. I spoke with the park ranger on duty before we left, and he said that they've never had a report of gators near campsites, but they do get them in the lakes, and because of that, they don't allow swimming. So don't expect to really kind of go out and dive in off the docks. The troublesome wildlife we had, though, wasn't gators, it was raccoons. And this is really my biggest complaint about the park, and one I did actually report. The raccoon problem is an unfortunate one that's being promoted by the park. So now if you've ever been to a park in Florida, whether it be a camping park, visiting one of the springs, I'm sure you've seen the wildlife sanctioned trash cans. They're the big boxes where you kind of have to stick your hand in sideways to be able to push the lever so you can open the lid. And it's made to keep out raccoons and bears, and we see these everywhere, except in Moss Park. The trash cans they had in Moss Park were your real old-style silver Oscar the Grouch trash cans. The only trash cans I have throughout the campground. So overnight, we heard the raccoons in the trash cans. In the morning, when we got up to use the washrooms, there was trash everywhere around them. They're being ransacked. There's just no way around that. The raccoon problem is something they need to fix. Now, not all the wildlife is troublesome. Some of the wildlife was pretty awesome. We saw several deer walking around the park, and in the morning while we were eating breakfast, we had a mom and a baby deer walk right through the middle of our campsite. So that was really cool. They just kind of stopped and looked at us for a minute while we were looking at them, and then just went on their way, clearly not afraid of people. I've never really seen deer that close and comfortable, so that was a lot of fun. I also saw cranes up close for the first time. Now, if you're from Central Florida, you've seen cranes before. We all have seen cranes before. But I've never realized how tall they can actually be. Now, I'm 5'5", and we had 2 crane walk through our campsite during lunch, and they were almost as tall as me. So that was really kind of cool just to get to see. On the flip side, apparently the cranes are not afraid of stealing food off your grill. So the fire doesn't scare them. But it got to be a fun little planning lesson. We got to teach our children about why cranes pull out their arms and try to bounce around on their feet to make them seem bigger than they actually are, and how we would do the same to scare them off just a little, so that we could finish our lunch in peace. Now, like I said, the park has a dock, and there's several different boat docks, and it's laid out beautifully, not only to be able to house multiple boats, but also to get to do fishing. It was really easy for us to all kind of spread out and fish in different areas without having to worry about tangled lines. There's also a couple of playgrounds on site, and the playgrounds have a lot of equipment on them. I was really kind of shocked to see such a robust playground in such a small little campground. Overall, like I said, this park is really kind of a hidden gem. It's not an adventurous park. While you can get out on the water, it's really more a place to just go and relax and enjoy the nature and enjoy some peace and quiet. So it's definitely one I would recommend. But again, I'm hoping that they fix a few of those issues, especially with the raccoons. So that's Moss Park. If you've been to Moss Park, or if you go to Moss Park, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anything I didn't cover, anything you noticed, feel free to ask questions or comment on the video below. Comment through our Contact Us page. And again, please subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to the blog. Subscribing definitely helps us out and helps us be able to bring you this content.